Pounders, we are back doing what we do best. And today it's going to be triple tabling the Puppy 2 just released on Underdog Fantasy. Before we get into that, some quick housekeeping. If you guys aren't already in the Discord, the link is in the description. Tons of awesome chats going on about just in-draft questions. Let's pull it up. We have free resources with the BestBall cheat sheet channel right here. We're sharing just all the big brain Twitter posts out there. And there's so many people that do great work. This guy right here, keeping track of all the ADPs at the BBM contest open, which is very interesting to look back on and sort of see where these people have moved from. We also created our free draft guide, which you can find right here. This was finished when BBM was 6% complete, 6% full. And this is when the schedule came out. Another update will be coming at 20% fill rate. And that's completely free for all the subscribers to the Pound. We have the week 15, 16, 17 schedule for all teams right here, easily viewable. And yeah, fun place to put your drafts and get graded by the Pounders in the chat. Just a great community. So I appreciate everyone for joining the Discord. I know I have a lot of fun looking at all the teams that everyone drafts. But now the Puppy 2. And I actually love the way that they did the payouts for the Puppy 2. I think BBM should have been a little closer to this, just with how first place, how second place, third place, etc. is paid out. But it's also pretty similar to BBM, where they're also paying out weeks 1 to 14. Not a focus. Absolutely not a focus. And actually, if we touch on BBM and how they're paying out weeks 1 to 14, and they're using, 33% of all the prize pool money, I see a lot of people making the mistake of sort of chasing what worked last year. We had King Cap on the channel twice. He took it down last year, first place in regular season BBM, and he had 2 elite quarterbacks. But what people are forgetting is he had Jalen Hurts in like the 6th or 7th round. So he's getting that quarterback at a value. He's hitting on those elite players at a value. He's not selecting a 2nd round QB and then going a 3rd round or 4th round or even a 5th round QB. He got his QBs at a value, Burrow and Hurts. Just something to keep, in the back of your head. Let's not chase what worked last year. Let's try to apply this stuff, what you learned, and let's try to win this year. Same thing with like Karane's lineup with the double running back. Now, I don't see a lot of people doing that, but if we strictly go off what worked last year, you're behind. All right. This is already 2.8% of fill, which is kind of gross because it's been open for a few hours now, and it's 225,000 entrants, 150K to first, 75K to second. I'm really enjoying the way that they're sort of designing these contests now. And if we look at the playoffs, go to all rules here. It's going to be 12-man group, 2 advance to week 15. Week 15, you are in another 12-person group where 1 person will advance to week 16. You'll be put in a 10-person pod. 1 advances to week 17. And then that is going to be a 313-person group. That is something to note because now we have to start to shoot for even more correlation, even more upside, the bigger that week 17 contest is. So it looks like you're guaranteed $200 if you make it to week 17, which is 40 entries. So you're playing against 312 other people for 150K for first place. How do we spike that? It's going to be correlation. So let's jump into 3 of these and let's see how many sickos. Wow, that was an insta fill, but have no fear. If you didn't get in that one, I'm sure you'll get in this one. And I'm sure you'll get into the next one as well. Let's rip 3 of these. Let's rip 3 of these. Perfect. Go to draft. Come here. Go to draft. Yo, baby. Influencer 101. Doesn't happen in BBM, but we'll take it here. Who else is in here? This one insta-filled, so I don't know if anyone snuck in. NF42 does sneak in. What's going on, my man? Oh, no way. Back-to-backs? Back-to-back. You guys must have been smashing the like button to get this type of luck. In the 103. All right. I like this a lot. Oh, we got a lot of pounders in this one. What's going on, my boys? What's going on? All right. And we're going to just insta-click chase here. Get this underway. Speed draft. Speed chess. Absolute speed chess. So sad about my Tyquan Thornton shares. So sad. We're at like 30, 31% in the 400 drafts we've done so far in the offseason just because his ADP has been so incorrect, in my opinion. We're going to go chase again here. He gets a positive write-up. And you know what this does? People just start reaching on him. And this is my go-to guy in this range at 185. He's now going typically around 170. I've seen him go 166. But it's one write-up. I think people are overreacting a little bit. But at the same point, like I think his ADP should have been in that 166 range anyways. Oh, hey, it's nice to be ahead of the field at least. It's nice to be ahead of the field. Feels good. Feels good. Closing line value, we definitely scooped that. All right, let's see what kind of sickos we have in the chat. Jerry, what's going on, my man? ER7, Drew, what's up, you sickos? Johnny, all in on Danny Dimes. I wouldn't say all in, but I like where he's going for sure. Yeah, we want the puppy. We want it now. Do it now. I'm in one where you're in the one. Coleman, let me know what is your underdog name. Be happy to go over your roster. Going to have about 50% exposure to AJ Brown by the time this thing ends. I've been drafting on the back end a lot. And when I can get AJ Brown in this range, absolutely been scooping him up. Absolutely been scooping him up. Our exposures are very high to AJ Brown as well. And guess what? That's not a bad thing. He's what we like to call a best ball guy. He'll provide those huge spike weeks for you. We have 15%. So almost double the market average that we should have at the 8.3%, 1 divided by 12. CDJT start. We see the Wilson, Amon-Ra start. There's a few landing spots for D-Hop, right? And I think let's go off Vegas, right? $20 to win like 140 if you bet on KC. So that's the highest odds. And then there's a sneaky dark horse of San Fran, Detroit, the Bills. That's sort of what I'm seeing. Jets, potentially. I don't know about the Jets. It could make sense. He said he wanted to play for a team with an elite QB. Is Rodgers still elite? I mean, I think he's still elite. I don't know how elite he'll be for fantasy football purposes. But he also wants to play for a team that's contending, a team with a good defense. And that sort of checks all the boxes in New York as well. So D-Hop will end up ruining someone's value, some wide receiver 2 on the team. If he ends up in Buffalo, I don't think you push Diggs too far. Like, I've been drafting A.J. Brown over Diggs anyways. But, yeah, we put Eckler in front of Diggs. We'll put A.J. Brown in front of Diggs officially. If you want to put – yeah, I think it sort of stops there, to be honest. So he drops a few spots. Big whoop. We get Josh Allen to follow us. Let's take him here. We'll go with the New England Buffalo stack, week 17, with Jamar Chase. I haven't been able to get a lot of the elite QBs in this 2-3 turn just because we've been drafting on the back end for what it feels like to be like the last 2 weeks. But it's all right. We used all our influencer 101s, 102s, 103s, I thought, in Superflex, but maybe it's coming back around. Unfortunately for us, it's the puppy and not BBM or the Chow. Let's see what we get to fall to us here. He goes T. Higgins. I would have done T. Higgins on this team. See if we can get Pollard to come back around. Let's see what we have over here. Okay. Tony Pollard. Let's go Pollard and Stevenson here. On the clock here, and we get Jalen Hurts at 22. Eric at the 211. What's going on, my man? We're going to go Jalen Hurts. Guys, real quick, we updated the Patreon tiers and what's available for the Patreon. Appreciate everyone that's signed up so far. We're going to have a special league for the first 11 people that sign up, and this is going to be the Founders Redraft League. So if that's something that interests you, we're going to have prizes for that as well. And that's going to be once you're in, you're grandfathered in as long as you're subscribed. And yeah, I think that's something I'm looking forward to. Get everyone in the redraft. See how good everyone is at redraft. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm going Stevenson all three teams here to start. I don't hate it. I really don't. Stevenson, it's in the realm of possibilities for him to end up as a top 5, if not a top 3 running back this season. So to get him at 27, I think he's actually the best value. And we'll see how we can kind of tie this up with some correlation. Week 17, Philly playing Arizona, New England playing Buffalo. Who are the Rams playing? The Rams are playing the Giants, I believe. I don't trust Diggs as much this year, C. Dillon says. It's not that I don't trust him, but I think Diggs versus A.J. Brown, when you compare the two right next to each other in that same tier, I have Diggs as more of that cash game player that's going to provide that weekly floor. That's going to be a little safer. It's a higher floor, lower ceiling. That's how I view Diggs. So for tournaments, especially deep field tournaments, 225,000 entrant tournaments, yeah, give me A.J. Brown. And that doesn't mean I don't want 0 Diggs. But yeah, going with Chase at the 101, I still feel like you have to. And in sharper drafts, I feel like that's what's happening. Not to say Minnesota and Justin Jefferson, like they have a great playoff schedule as well. But how can you pass up on KC Cincinnati week 17? It's also a more condensed offense, in my opinion, in Cincinnati versus Minnesota that adds Addison. They have Hawkinson now. So you were supposed to let me get Hurts, Devonta. Honestly, when we're triple tabling, we are just focusing on our squads. Our squads. All right. So Burrow, he goes to the T. Higgins squad. Burrow, Cup, Smith. I like that start a lot. We have to bring in a receiver here. Have to bring in a receiver, maybe 2. I think it's got to be 2. We don't pick until let's go Kirk here. We don't pick until 72 and 73. See what the wide receivers look like. It starts to fall off. Where we have that elite QB that we use a second round, borderline 3rd round pick. I think you have to double tap here, wide receiver. It just falls off so quick. And we're not guaranteed much value to fall back to us, especially in Pounders drafts where we got NF42 over here. Jay Conley, this name's familiar as well. Had to take T. Yeah, it's a great start. It's a really, really strong start. These double taps here. So we're having some wide receivers fall to us, which is what we want. Christian Watson goes at 39. Gibbs at 40. Gibbs is someone that I've noticed the higher stakes you're playing, the further he falls. Like you can get him typically at like 44, 45 in the chow. Pairs it with a Amon-Ra, which is nice. And they have the Dallas bring back as well. So I like what I like what that guy's doing. I think we're just going to go Terry here. Terry, probably one of the most disrespected yearly receivers. Him and Lockett, top 2 most disrespected. I'm curious what everyone thinks about Seattle. Whose ADP is wrong? Is it the wide receivers? Because there's 3 receivers going before pick, 70? Yeah, there's 3 receivers going within the first 66 picks. But then you have the QB going at pick 115. Whose ADP is wrong? I think it's actually both, to be honest. I think Goff should be higher, and I think DK should fall a little bit. I think JSN should fall a little bit. Double tapping here. Let's go a little naked Justin Fields. A little naked Justin Fields. You could always pair him up later with tight end, Mooney, really late Claypool. Am I just going to go Kirk again? Like all 3 of these? I need another receiver here. Do we have Kirk on all 3 teams? That's 2. All right. We have Kirk on all 3 teams. We have Stevenson on all 3 teams. Let's go. 2 different elite QBs. So those should be similar builds as well. I mean, I guess Justin Fields is elite as well. But he fell 7, 8 picks. I don't mind scooping him there. Stevenson's our RB1 on 2 teams. Reed in the 4 spot goes Herbert. Pairs him with Mike Williams. Mike Williams is one of those best ball guys, right? I think he's maybe not the best value receiver in that range that he's going. Like right here, he's going near Terry, Keenan Allen, London, Judy, Christian Kirk. I don't think he's the best value guy, but again, deep field tournaments, he probably has the highest ceiling, single game ceiling. That's all I care about. And that kind of makes it easier when you're trying to pick between 2 players. Who has the higher single game ceiling? It's easier to make projections that way. You've got it falling a couple picks. Not a lot of value here falling to us. Goes Dotson. Cam Akers. We can go Cam Akers and Gabe Davis and just hope that Hopkins doesn't get put on Buffalo. Although, does it really kill Gabe Davis? I really don't think it does. He's still going to be that deep threat guy. And maybe he gets loose a little easier with Hopkins there. So I don't think it's that crazy. We pair him up with Josh Allen as well. Up in 6 picks here. I have Jefferson first pick, Hawkinson 4th, Kirk 49th, Ramondre 24th. Sweet. I like those starts. NF42 says AJ Brown is safe. Again, that's like the offense is very condensed in Philly. Very condensed. Tim, it's Smith. And then my man. Sleeper pick for us at the very end here. We'll see if he falls to us. Our naked Jalen Hurts. Goddard gets sniped. How early? 63. Best ball beast. I think he's a pounder. Did us dirty there. Did us dirty. We got Dogecoin here. Dogecoin in the 5 spot. We're up in 7 picks here. You just got to keep track of your teams, right? Keep track of your teams and what that team needs. where you're picking, 96, 97, sort of look who's there. Obviously, people can fall as well. Kyle Pitts falls to us. You can go Kyle Pitts. I don't mind the Kyle Pitts pick. We pick at 75 as well. This team needs a receiver. They both need tight ends. Nope, we're not going Kyle Pitts. We're going to go Treylon Burks. We're going Treylon Burks. Tell you why in a sec. I'll tell you why in a second. Throwing people off. Throwing off the field. Last second adjustments. Halftime adjustments. Need to make them. Need to make them. No values falling to us at all in these drafts, which is fine. We'll go just kind of go get our guys. Kyle Pitts goes. Jonathan Johnson goes. Pickens off the board. We're double tapping here. We have Justin Fields. I honestly don't mind just double tapping receiver in this range. I really don't. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. George Pickens opens us up to a late Kenny Pickett as well. And we're going Waller here to pair with this Cooper Kupp, Week 17 correlation, Waller, Kupp. I think that makes a lot of sense. Oh, not a believer in Geno. Look how many games he had multiple touchdowns last year, though. In a row. Like he was throwing 5 games, was it? He had 2+ touchdowns in a row. Very consistent. So you add JSN there. It's kind of tough not to like him, especially like at his ADP where he's going. Super fair price. Super fair price. I'm crushing souls over here. Johnny says, Gabe Davis is a spike week player no matter what. Cross your fingers and hope, basically. Now, last year, he was a full fade for us. Cam Akers was a full fade for us. Pitts, full fade, and Najee. And now, those guys are some of our favorite picks. Everyone has their price. Everyone has their price. We're up in 15 here, up in 13, and up in 1 pick here. Richardson's a common faller these days. I think this is an interesting team where we can actually bring in JMO if we want. I think he makes a lot of sense. I have a tier fall off. We could go Juju for the Week 17, but I'd rather just take the better player. And I'm between running back or tight end. If we don't go tight end, we'll probably end up with 3, which is fine. Let's go AJ Dillon here. Got Kamara yesterday at 125. And honestly, he has to, for me to select Kamara, he has to fall. He's going at 100. Like, at least Penny can't be on the board. If Penny's not on the board, these running backs get scooped up, then I'm willing to go Kamara. That's sort of where I have him priced at for the risk. Waller scares me, made of glass, and that's why he's priced there. And that's why I love him. He still has that upside. You think about the Giants and who they signed at receiver, basically everyone that was available in free agency, and they still don't have a number 1. Waller could be a number 1 target for the Giants. He could be the slant king. But again, if you're not betting on Waller, right? Maybe are you taking the backup? Are you taking Bellinger with your Danny Dimes stacks? I actually think Bellinger's interesting for tournaments that fill quickly. And you can get that closing line value potentially if there is an injury to Waller and you're different because he's not being drafted. So if you're making that bet that he doesn't stay healthy, curious if you're doubling down on the back end. And this is just beautiful. Right out of a book. We get James Conner falling 9 picks to our team that is just welcoming another running back here. And we get the Philly Arizona stack. Yeah. Couldn't write that one better. Fits like a glove. Up in 1 pick again. I love this range for running backs. Like, give me running backs in this range. I know I see Davis in the chat. He's screaming, Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas. I can't. JMO goes, I don't like these running backs. Is this a Michael Thomas squad? Is this the Michael Thomas squad for Davis in the chat? I just hate missing out on this tier of running backs, right? We're not picking till 118. All right, we'll try it. We'll see how the team comes out. We'll go MT there. Maybe we'll take a shot on Charbonnet here. We'll go Charbonnet instead of AJ Dillon, but I honestly think that maybe we'll go both, to be honest. We might just be double tapping both. In my opinion, you're hoping Zach Charbonnet is AJ Dillon, but you can just select him 1 pick after Zach Charbonnet. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't make much sense to me. Let's go running back tight end here. Let's go Njoku. I have a tier drop off after Njoku's off the board. So we'll just go pretty balanced here. Balanced. I have so much Njoku. We're sitting around 30% Njoku after the NFL draft. It's gross. It's gross. I need someone to talk me off the Njoku ledge, if you please can, in the chat. Yeah, Johnny's touching on the Waller pick. I love that. I absolutely love that. You took Connor. Always Connor. Dude, he just seems like an absolutely unreal value this season. Unreal value. Got Rodgers falling to us. Not going to be interesting. Mitchell for our first pick. I think he has unreal upside. Handcuffed behind CMC. And I don't want to force a tight end here, to be honest. I don't love the Zay Jones pick, but we do have the Christian Kirk correlation. So we'll go with the little double there. This team's going to need an extra receiver, and I think it's on pace. I really do think like this is the perfect room to bring in JMO so far. So I'm happy with that. You got it. No, you got it. Thanks, Bob. Rodgers at 108 to Elijah Moore team. That's a super easy stack to get in the middle of the draft. Elijah Moore, Rodgers, and then you go like a late Conklin as well. Has Garrett Wilson. Really nice. Really nice. Just curious, like Rodgers versus Kirk Cousins, Rodgers versus Geno Smith. I have Rodgers like more in this range near Jared Goff, and I'd actually prefer Goff over Rodgers. Like Kirk Cousins, you got an extra weapon in Addison this season. Geno Smith got JSN. I don't know. That's where I'm at with Rodgers. I'm not going to own a ton of Rodgers this season. Never can have him too much Njoku. Okay. All right. Well, you didn't talk me off the ledge, and now I have to just keep selecting him. So thanks for that. Yeah. If Waller stays healthy, that's the risk. If you're out on Waller because of injuries, he has the capabilities. He could finish easily as a top 4 tight end. Easily. Just in the offense he's in. Think about the coaching staff and how they turned that team around in one season. Turned Danny Dimes around in one season. Here's a nice little pairing from Drew going Daniel Jones and Smith. Pairing it with JSN. Also has Barkley. This is falling to us again really nicely. Like, I want RBs in this range. So we're sort of hitting our pockets, which is nice. We have certain ranges of what positions we want to be drafting. Just where I think that the value is, where the upside is. Harris goes. Harris is a good pick. I don't mind Robinson, 12 picks after ADP. So that's what's happening. Let's see if we can smash another running back in this group. Penny's off the board. Definitely was going to be one of our players we were interested in. This is our Jalen Hurts team too. Here's our Justin Fields squad. We're double tapping here. Coleman is selecting right before us. We're back on the clock. Okay, sweet. So we get our pick. I'm not going both Washington running backs. I don't think it's egregious, but I'm not doing it. Give me Elijah Mitchell. You got the San Fran Washington correlation. That's what it's all about. Makes the pick a little easier. Reed on auto? Nope. Brings in Myers. I'm curious. Does everyone think that Vegas is going to get rid of Renfro? Like, can't Myers do Renfro's job just better? Damn, both RBs right before us. That's fine. We're actually really strong at running back. We need to pump in wide receivers here. We got Justin Fields, so we're going to go Mooney. Might not be the best value wide receiver in this range, but and then we can go Chiggy here if we want. Let's see what this draft is. Do we have 2 over here? Oof, we're double tapping over here too. I'm cool with going Komet and Higbee. Just double tap. Yeah, we're double tapping here. 7 seconds. Reaching up for Chiggy. We have the correlation with Treylon Burks. I'm cool with it. I am cool with it. Curious what you guys think. Can you stop at 2 tight ends here? I believe you can. With Njoku and Chiggy, I'm comfortable with just leaning on these 2. But then again, like, let's see what happens at the end of the draft, and let's see if we think there's another player. Maybe tight end is the position where we can get the most points, depending who's there. Hunter Renfro's the man. No one can block Devontae Adams like he can. Davis says he likes Pat Freiermuth. Wish he's overlooked more. I know. Honestly, when they drafted Darnell Washington, I was like, great. This is where his ADP is going to fall a little bit and we can scoop some Freiermuth. His ADP barely changed at all after they selected Darnell Washington. I was kind of pissed. If anything, I think he went a little higher. They also bring in Allen Robinson. I mean, it's not great for Freiermuth. I think he should have fallen a little bit. That's just my personal feels. Oh, this is something I can get behind. We're talking about like 20th round Derrick Henry. 20th round Hunter Henry on the big board. And we ended up with a disgusting amount of Hunter Henry. And I still love him in the 20th round. Talking about a tight end that is the 2nd highest paid in the league. He's going undrafted. Someone's got to catch balls in New England. And Hunter Henry is also He's the red zone guy there. He had the most red zone targets last season. So I'll just keep quietly selecting Hunter Henry in the last round. Sort of like we were quietly selecting Tyquan Thornton this whole time, and now it's like the cat's out of the bag with that one. I'm going to miss that ADP of 185 for Tyquan. And at 42, Kirk as his QB, sort of hero, running back build, their anchor, single anchor running back build. Kittle and Schultz could be done there. Curious if he brings in another. Has a little San Fran thing going. Up in 3 picks here, up in 2 picks. Let's see what these two do. You have Jamal Williams falling a little bit. I think this is correct. This is the range that I'm willing to select Williams if we need a running back. Higbee off the board. We have Waller. We could go with falling Jamal here. I don't really mind that. Hyatt, I'm not the most high on. No pun. DJ Chark. I don't own a lot of DJ Chark. Let me know in the chat. Is that a mistake? Is that a mistake? Should I be willing to select him in this range? Because, I mean, it's kind of a dead zone where I'm usually selecting tight ends in this range. I also like Tank. I think he could be a pretty big riser. Cole Kmet off the board, Dolchich off the board. I like that double tap. I like that double tap in this range. We're up in like 2 picks on every board. Max Payne. All right. We're going to go Chark here. Up in 1 pick here. This is our Justin Fields team. I know who we want to fall to us. We could go Kmet. We don't have any Denver players. New Orleans, negative. Rashawn Johnson, Tank Bixby. We don't need a third tight end, but with the correlation, and he falls a few picks. Let's go Osborne first. We're up in 8 seconds here, so this is going to be a quick one. I don't mind Rondell Moore. If we autoed Rondell Moore, I actually would have been happy. Let's go Knox here for our third tight end, correlated with Josh Allen. Come back over here. I know it's a correlated Kmet, but we don't really need a tight end here. Rondell Moore goes at 146. Yeah, I guess. It's like a wide receiver dead zone. So if you need receivers, I think that's a fine pick. And we grab Tank Bixby for this team. DJ Shark, do. Yeah, he was a beast a few years back. A few years seems like a long time though. So this team's going to stop with 1 more receiver. We need to pump in some running backs. Who's going to be our second QB? Second QB could either be, we could take a shot on Levis, but you really want someone that's sturdy to go with Justin Fields. That's just my opinion. So maybe a Kenny Pickett on the way back around. We don't have Kupp on this team. We have Cooper Kupp on this squad, I think. Staffy's gone. He is. Interesting. We can go Sam Howell here. Not with this pick, but for this team. We have the Terry correlation. We have Brian Robinson. It'll be a late round QB selection. I think that makes sense to go with Jalen Hurts. Osborne off the board. Our running backs feel really confident. We also got Jamal Williams, 14 picks after ADP here. We got Robinson, 12 picks after ADP. We could stop at running back, to be honest. We could stop at running back here. Oh, the Shaheed picks really, really, really good. That one hurts. That one hurts. Let's go get our guy. Let's go get our guy. I want him at 171. What's the difference if we take him at 166? He's also correlated with Stevenson. If we need to, Sam Howell randomly gets scooped in this draft, we can divert to a Mac Jones. And I honestly think like when we think about these late stacks with like Mac Jones and the Patriots teams that like you can just get the stack so easily. You're not really doing it for like week 17. Like, oh, this is what I need to win week 17. It's more of maybe they get you to week 17, right? Those pods are smaller. Yeah, I'm cool with this. I'm cool with going Knox here. Yeah, so the pods are smaller. Like this one is what 12 person pods through the playoffs, 12 and 10. So it's not like you're playing 300 other teams where you're like, oh, I need Mac Jones to get me there. That's going to be thin. Staffy sitting here as well. Damn, Shaheed sniped before us in back-to-back drafts. We could have gone Staffy and Van Jefferson. We're on the board. We're on the clock on here. So we'll let that one run out. We need running backs. I don't mind Jeff Wilson here. Wow. Mega value on Jeff Wilson. Holy 25 picks. We're done at tight end. Our wide receivers are strong. We need another QB. And that's going to be I don't mind going Brock Purdy naked. We need another pick over here. This has got to be a running back, right? I don't really like Foreman. Let's reach up and get Tyquan Thornton here. We should be done at receiver with the Thornton pick. I'd rather just pump out 2 or 3 running backs at the end here. Done at QB. We could be done at tight end. And let's just pump out 3 running backs. Might not even need 3, to be honest. We'll see. I think we should be able to get there with 2, and then we'll go best available. We could go, like, this could be a team where we go Will Levis with our last pick. You have the Treylon Burks. You have Chiggy. Curious, who does everyone like? Do you guys like Levis, or are you on the Tannehill train? Do they both play this season? That's sort of what I'm thinking. And does Derrick Henry get traded? Because we've seen Ryan Tannehill be able to provide back-to-back playoff runs. I mean, they get bumped out of the playoffs very quickly, but if he can have a hot start, and most of it is Henry's work, right? But Turner asks, how do you feel about Antonio Gibson this year? I liked him a lot better in the big board when he was going pick 140, 145. Just the eye test from last season, he outperformed Brian Robinson in my eyes. But again, Brian Robinson returning from multiple gunshot wounds. It should be split relatively 50-50 there. So I like him for where he's going. I think he should be able to provide some spike weeks. He's involved in the passing game. Yeah. And after Antonio Gibson, after Elijah Mitchell, you're taking shots on like Khalil Herbert, which is a 3. 3-head Hydra at running back in Chicago. Jalen Warren I like, but even he's getting priced up. Kendry Miller, Jerick McKinnon's fine. And then, I mean, when you get Jamal Williams at 142, it's pretty nice. We don't have anyone on San Fran here, right? Elijah Mitchell, backdoor stack. No one on Pittsburgh. Let's just bring in Sam Howell here. We're done at receiver. We could be done at tight end. We could bring in one more. And not only because they share a bye week. I don't think that's the biggest deal, to be honest. Like, what are you losing? 8 to 10 points? Potentially. We could actually probably bump that down from like 4 to 12 points. So we have the double here in Washington. Trey McBride off the board. I don't mind Gus Edwards here. We have 2 picks. So if this is Gus Edwards, we're done at QB. We're done at tight end. Our last pick can be a wide receiver. I think that makes a lot of sense. Tie that team with a bow and ship it off. We have 3 picks left over here. We have Fields, Pickett, Pollard, Stevenson, Charbonnet, Tank Bigsby, Chase, Kirk, Pickens, Treylon Burks, Mooney, Osborne, Tyquan Thornton. We're done at tight end. We could add one more receiver. And we need to add 2 running backs. That's sort of where I'm at with this team. Sure, we could go Mac Jones, but 3 QBs. I'd rather just rely on Fields. We got him at a value as well. Pollard and Stevenson. Let's bring in Zach Evans. Let's bring in McColl. Last pick over here, we have Josh Allen and Purdy, Stevenson, Akers, A.J. Dillon, Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson, Chase, Kirk, DJ Moore, Gabe Davis. So receivers are strong. Tight ends are fine. I think we're fine at running back too. We can just go best available, to be honest. I don't mind going last. We got Akers, though. Yeah, I don't mind bringing in last round Joshua Palmer. With the amount of injuries that could happen in LAC, I think that's a fine pick. Sure, they bring in the rookie Quentin Johnston, but you're getting 18th round Joshua Palmer, and he showed that he can have spike weeks last season. We're up in 1 pick over here. Fields, Pickett. Wide receivers are wiped off the board early in this draft. I'm expecting more pass catching from Gibson this year, plus Hal. Yeah, 100%. 100%. B-Rob is the guy. He's the plotter, but plotters get points that matter. It's funny when you have those running backs, like going basically back-to-back now. Put a bow on this team. Put a bow on this team. It's between these two. Cup, McLaurin, Kirk, Burks, Michael Thomas, DJ Chark, Tyquan Thornton. New England. We have a triple in New England. I think we actually get more points out of Hunter Henry. Not only because of the bye, but I think in season we can get more points out of a tight end than we can Olamide. / what are the chances that he's the guy you need week 17, right? I'd rather have the advance rates be better than take a shot on someone that you're hoping. Like he would realistically need to get how many points to make a difference week 17? I think it would have to be at least 18 points, 18 to 20 points to make a difference. And then you think about we're facing how many other teams in the finals, 312 other teams in the finals. And you think about how many receivers they have. I think it's a little thin. We have the New England correlation on that side. That's fine. Here's the rookie running back squad. I don't typically do this, but Charbonnet should have a role sooner than most rookies. Let's go running back. We can't. I'm just not interested in going James Robinson. We have Pollard, so I'm not going Malik Davis. We have Stevenson, so I'm not going James Robinson. We're trying to find where we can really make an impact with an injury to a running back, and I think that's Joshua Kelly in this range. So I like him for this squad. All right, that's 3 drafts down. That is 3. We have 4 chows. I'm going to try to get one more chow in before that fills. But I don't really feel rushed to do these drafts because I just know when the tournament fills, they're just going to open up another tournament. So how many puppies did we do? We did 57. We have 8 slow drafts left. So we finished at 65. Not killing myself. But I do believe that right now is the best time to draft. If you're a plus EV drafter, if you're ahead of the curve and you have some of your player takes, right now is the better time because ADPs are still fluid. And as we get later into the season, yes, we have more information and the ADPs become even sharper, which kind of lessens it lessens the risk for other players to draft because the ADPs are more accurate. So as you go further into the summer, I actually believe it becomes harder and harder. Your EV becomes a little less and a little less. And then 42 wants the roast. Let's see what draft he's in. He's in this one. Okay. And then 42 in the 9 spot. Going 3 QB build. Definitely agree with this. You got a little Kyler. Maybe to provide some upside for week 15, 16, 17. I've heard 2 sides. I've heard people think that he's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. I've heard people say that Arizona is going to tank and they're not even going to bring him back this season. So I've heard both sides to it. I think it's an interesting pick for a team that you are going Russ as your first QB because you at least give your team some of that potential upside. You get Jordan Love 34 picks after ADP. An absolute gift for a team that puts off QB. Tight ends, Freiermuth and Irv Smith. I personally think it's a little thin, but let's see. Let's see what you got. Chubb, Harris, Alexander Madison, Swift, and Javonte Williams. I'm cool with these running backs. Look at the value. You're the reason why we weren't seeing any of the values fall to us. You were just there like the ice cream man. You had your big spoon just digging deep. 14 picks. 14 and a half picks after ADP. Beautiful. AJ Brown, DK, Pittman, Marquise Brown, Mingo, Curtis Samuel, Micah Wilson. Oh, we're digging deep. We're digging deep for the love correlation there. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Honestly, instead of Wicks, I would have liked to seen a Musgrave pick. Did Musgrave go though? Just want to make sure Musgrave didn't get drafted. Yeah. I would have preferred if this was Musgrave. I think your receivers are fine right here. I think you could get by with 7, but that's just my opinion. That's just one man's opinion. Walling in the 2 spot, Eric in the Discord, Pounder. Joe Burrow at 50 with Desmond Ridder. I like that pairing a lot. I hope they're both correlated. Pollard, Pacheco, Montgomery, Penny, Donta Foreman. I like the RB group. Pitts, Everett, McBride. I think that's great. And you have a ton of wide receivers. You got the double with Cincy, you absolute sicko savage. Really nice. Really, really nice. You got Pitts for the correlation Atlanta. Maybe go Mac Hollins instead of Chase Claypool at the end there. But I like that team. Damn. Really nice draft. At the 4 spot, Herbert and Staffy. 10 picks before ADP. Andrews and Higbee. Easy stack. If you need a stack late, just go on like Staffy and Higbee or Staffy and Van Jefferson. You can go 2-2 if you want, like you did here. I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, Nakua as well. Rashad White, James Cook, Damian Harris, Antonio Gibson, Tajay Spears, Clyde. I don't think it's the craziest thing to take both Buffalo running backs, pretty much guaranteeing yourself all the touchdowns besides the ones that Josh Allen steals away. But the word in the street is they want to run him less. We'll see what actually happens when the game's on the wire. Hill, Smith, DJ Moore, Jordan Addison, Kadarius Toney, Rashid Shaheed, Khalil Shakir. I like this team. Someone sniped Shaheed from us twice today. It's okay. ER7 was in this one too. Lamar and Dak. I like that pairing. Likely Ferguson and Jelani Wood. So really putting off your first tight end till pick 186. This is definitely 3 people. I'll tell you that. This is definitely 3 guys. Kenneth Walker, Pierce, Charbonnet, Khalil Herbert, Jerick McKinnon, Devin Singletary. I actually like this running back room. I can't knock you here. I think this is a great room. Houston has a sneaky good O-line. You also bring in Devin Singletary with Pierce. My concern for Pierce is like Devin Singletary. A lot of people talk about like, oh yeah, like Houston didn't draft a running back. Well, I mean, yeah, but they brought in Singletary. If he can get 25% of the carries, I think that hurts Pierce a lot. If he can work out a roll towards 40%, Pierce shouldn't be going until probably around pick 90. So I'm sort of sticking around that like 5% with Pierce right now. Diggs, Waddle, London, Brandon Cooks, Boyd, Hyatt, and Downs. I like the room. Dallas correlation. You have Lamar correlation with likely. you snuck it in there. Another good draft. Drewski in the 8 spot finally makes it out for a draft. Daniel Jones and Smith. I like this pairing. I think you can stop here. You get your rushing floor. Geno also provides a pretty damn good floor, but Jones also gives you a ceiling as well. I think you can go 3 QBs, but if you need to stop at 2, I think that's fine as well. You started pissing green like it's St. Patty's Day with Bijan, Barkley, and Breece Hall. And then you bring in Jeff Wilson as your 4th running back. Interesting. Hyper fragile. Mike Gesicki, Noah Fant, and Luke Musgrave. Man, you guys all put off tight end, huh? Till the very end. Judy. This is a draft right here. This is an interesting one. First receiver was Judy. JSN, Mike Evans, Quentin Johnson, Bateman, Gallup. Yeah, like these are my guys right here. I like this group in this range. I think he came back from starting 0 wide receivers. But the problem that if you might not like your draft, I don't know where you're at on it, but if I'm going to go 0 wide receiver, I want to be super strong everywhere else. And these tight ends just aren't, it's not it. So if you're weak at more than one position, that's when I think it's like, crap, maybe this wasn't my draft. Best ball beast. I like this QB room. Tight ends are strong. Running back, single sort of hero running back build. I think it's fine with this group. Depends on if Kendra probably can work out a role. And as long as Dalvin doesn't go to Miami, all the A-chain shares for people will be crying. Lamb, Ridley, Christian Watson. I like the wide receivers. I think this team's good. And I believe Fantasy Football Fun's in the stream as well. 3 QBs are fine. The tight ends are fine. Running backs, you get Kamara 10 picks after, Warren 13 picks before, so you kind of like trade off on those values. Mixon, I think, could be actually a riser. If we get news that, like the official news that he's staying in Cincy, I think it becomes a pretty big riser, like 12, 13 picks. ETN finally falling. This ADP when he was at like 31, 32 was egregious. 37 to 40, I'm willing to take him. Adams, Wilson, Cooper. Yeah, the wide receivers are strong. So really strong draft from just about everybody. And if you guys haven't already, go in the description, join our Discord, post your drafts in the Draft Grade channel, get roasted by the Pounders in Discord. Super active community. That's where our free draft guide is on there for the subscribers. And again, if you want to support the channel, Patreon is in the description as well. I appreciate all you guys for coming out again. Fun draft for everybody, and I'll catch you on the next one. Pounders.